It's day 5 of the Midwest test is what I'm calling this trip, and back out on trail. And so just doing a day hike kind of thing. It's a little bit weird carrying my full pack because it's like awkwardly light, but I don't have a good day pack. So doing a day hike, about 8 miles up and down to some alpine lakes and in gorgeous Colorado. I can definitely tell right off the bat all my superhuman red blood cells that I got in the Sierra are gone. Starting at 9,200 feet, going up to 11,800 in about 4 miles. I'm feeling it. Up at about 10,000 feet now, and there is snow again. And if you've watched my previous videos, you know how much I love snow. Luckily, trail's clear, not too worried about it, but it just kind of made me laugh. Still can't get out of it. So walking down the trail and just saw some fabric in the trail. Thought it was trash, went over to be a good person and pack it out, and saw it's pretty high-end $30 or so pair of underwear, men's. I was like, oh cool, I'm not opposed to wearing trail underwear. I have a pair of hiker trash underwear, or hiker box underwear. No big deal, wash it, good as new. Picked it up, looked at it, and it was really muddy, and inspected further, and muddy in a weird place. And so I learned very quickly why it was in the middle of the trail. So that's my day, picking up poopy underwear. I have a limit to my good deeds, so that is staying there. But public service announcement: if you crap your pants, no judgment, but pack out your dirty underwear. I think I found the bluest blue that has ever blued. Made it to the upper lakes, 4.6 miles in about 2 hours, and pretty proud of that considering I went from 9,000 to over 11,000 and spent 2 weeks in 700 feet elevation. So getting my lungs back under me. I was thinking about doing the pass, which kind of continues up here and then kind of switchbacks. Probably can't see it, but kind of ends right up there. But with these clouds, and I've heard a little bit of thunder and being way exposed up here, probably just gonna hang out here for a minute and head back down below tree level. You can see out there, there's a ton of marmots up here. I think I've seen like 12. And for some reason, they're still, to me, like the stupidest animal. This one was just trying to cross this river and tried to jump to a rock and fell right in, landed on his face. Will say there was a lot of things that I really enjoyed about the PCT, and I still plan on doing some through hikes in the future, but it is really, really nice to be able to sit and enjoy just a beautiful view for a couple hours, knowing I can go back and I have a bed and a stove to cook on. Being outside and exercising and things of that nature, they release a hit of dopamine in your brain, which is kind of the feel-good molecules. And so I think I've kind of figured out why every time I go back to Texas I get really depressed. I think it's because I may be addicted to being outside, which, you know, of the things you can be addicted to is probably not the worst thing. And then every time I go back to Texas, it's hot and it's ugly and there's no way to get outside and do things. And so you have that withdrawal symptoms that you would have from any other really drug. It's just kind of an interesting realization I had on this hike. Made it down to the river to wash off because there was a lot of poison ivy on this trail. And now the fun part is trying to get back up the trail to the car without re-getting poison ivy. So one thing that's big with poison ivy, poison oak, safety, all that kind of stuff is knowing how poison ivy and poison oak and poison sumac works. So what they do is they have an oil on their leaves that's called urusol, and that urusol gets on your skin, and that's what causes a reaction. So in theory, you could roll around in a field of poison ivy. If you get out and you get it washed off within 2 to 3 hours, you're not going to have any reactions. The issue is it's really, really hard to get that oil off. Think about getting like motor grease off your hands. So one thing that's really important is to contain anything that may have gotten oil on it, because that oil can last really indefinitely. So if you get it on, say, your clothes, and then you get it all off your skin, but then you touch those clothes later, you can get it on you at a later date, and it'll still give you that reaction. The things that I do, since I'm highly sensitive to it, is one, quarantine all of my clothes once I get out. I usually, if I can find a river, I'll go down to a river and scrub down. I mean, scrub hard. And then another thing that I really, really like is these, which are called IVX. They're basically little hand towelettes with some sort of chemical in there that neutralizes that urusol so you don't have the reaction. Since I've been doing that, I hike a lot and I haven't gotten a reaction. So highly recommend that if you're hiking in anywhere with poison ivy, poison oak, all of that, because I've had it from head to toe and it's miserable. So normally whenever I travel in the 4Runner, I have a fancy little kitchen that kind of pulls out from underneath the bed. But since I was only doing a 2-week stint and I used the drawer rollers for the tiny house, this is my kitchen. And I kind of like it. It's a little more advanced than my backpacking kitchen and a little less advanced than my normal kitchen, but it works just fine. And so we've got some chickpea pasta going tonight. And for a sauce, tomatoes, green onions, garlic, avocado oil, and garlic. So, very excited. Starving. It's about 7:30 in the morning. Today is day 7 of this road trip. And I'm doing Black Canyon of the Gunnisons National Park. Going into Tamichi route. So yesterday I went to a little Rangers program thing, talked with her a little bit afterwards, and basically asked what is the gnarliest, least trafficked trail on in the park. And she told me there's not really trails in the park, they're just routes. But Tamichi, it's 1,900 feet of drop over 1 mile, so approximately 1/3 of a mile vertical for 1/3 or 1 mile horizontal. She said 1 mile down, 1 mile up. Plan on about 5 hours. So very excited. I'm going to do a lot of scrambling, get down to the river, have a good lunch, and come back up and continue on. So this is what I'm headed down into. 1,900 feet of drop in 1 mile. So about an hour in, 0.4 miles done, and came from way up there all the way down this loose, sketchy rock, and Gotta make it another 0.6 miles way down there. I see why they said plan for 5 hours. Here's the first signs of the river, right down there. I'm about an hour and a half in, and 0.7. Yeah, this is tough. Going up's gonna be real interesting. Aha, made it down in just under 2 hours. The rangers, usually they are kind of fear-mongers and over-exaggerate, but they did not at all on this one. This was gnarly as can be. I would say this hike probably compares to some of the stuff I did in the Sierra. So, no joke out here. Sweating like crazy, and I can't tell. Got the boob sweat going. I can't tell if that's because it's hot or if that's nerves, because yeah, over the last 2 hours I didn't trust one single step down here. So, but made it down. Now I gotta figure out how to get back up there. One of the big reasons that I just absolutely love hiking and being outside and doing these crazy trips is there's very few things I've found in this world that are more motivating and give you more self-worth than literally conquering a mountain. So I'm almost on my way, almost back up, but you see way down there. That's where I went down and back up, and still climbing, but feels so good once I can breathe again to look back on that and be like, wow, I did that. National Park number 31. This was a well-earned sticker after Tamichi. Got a little bit of a hiker's wet dream here. I sent in 4 pairs of socks that I tore up on the PCT, and 4 brand new pairs of Darn Toughs. It's like $80 worth of socks, but they are guaranteed for life, and I'm a big fan because they actually stand by their products. So very happy that I have 5 pairs of Darn Toughs now. Day 8 of the road trip, and I'm in Colorado National Monument. Really pretty canyons. Hiking the Serpents Trail. Pretty easy, like 800 feet of climbing. Yeah, last 2 nights I've done something that I never do, and that is pay for campgrounds. I stayed actually in Black Canyon of the Gunnisons, and then in the Colorado National Monument campgrounds the last 2 nights. And usually I don't like paying for campgrounds, but everything around Grand Junction, all the BLM spots, seemed very druggy and sketchy, so it was kind of worth it to pay the $10. The end of day 8. I spent a day in Colorado National Monument. I did about 5 miles of hiking. Got pretty hot today, so yeah, had fun there, and then continued on. Got some groceries. Got a new backpack, so I have a day pack now. Very exciting. And found myself at, I believe it's called Deep Creek. It's a little BLM land, beautiful creek out here that's my home for the night. Tomorrow I'll be doing Grizzly Bear Creek hike, something like that. It was recommended by some locals. Seems like a lot of fun. And then continuing on to the hot springs. So